Okay, folks, here we go. It's my esteemed pleasure to introduce a family friend. And what makes Dave Cooper so interesting and despised? No, not despised. So I was going to say he just retired. Some of us are very envious of him retiring. But he retired from a position that was really interesting. He was athletic director for a high school for 18 years. What makes that really interesting, he was the athletic director at 2 high schools at the same time for 18 years, right? And he still has hair and he's not crazy. So you can imagine dealing with all those coaches. It was interesting as those high schools would play each other. So I can remember being at football game for Queen Anne's High, and Ken Island would come and play, and Dave would actually have to wear the colors. What would you have? The top was the color of one?
Blue and green.
Yeah, so he'd be wearing both schools' colors at the same time. So this is Dave Cooper, and he's going to talk about how to form a better relationship with your athletic director.
Right.
It's something we all need to work on, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here this morning, and I do also commend you guys for coming out on your day off, and I know that time is precious. I may not be at the top of my game this morning. I did have one of those cinnamon buns on my way in. Actually, I didn't. I'm a very slow study, but my wife continues to work on me, and I'm getting better. She teaches pre-K, and I'll second what Tracy said. She's just seeing an explosion of children with food allergies. The Play-Doh in her classroom this year has to be made with rice flour because one of the young little guys, if he touches regular Play-Doh, he's allergic. So that really is true. Let me jump right in here. I'm going to give you 3, I think, pretty good tips for developing a good relationship with your athletic director. Number 1, tell them that they really allotted you too much money this year, and you really need to give some of it back. Number 2, make sure you thank them for scheduling you the top 5 teams in your conference and your first 5 games with a young returning team. And the last one is, on the great salaries you're getting as coaches, buy them really expensive bottles of wine every once in a while and drop it by for them. Actually, that's not a bad idea, probably for a variety of reasons. I'm just kidding, obviously, but I thought the approach would be for me just to share with you from it was 19 years, but who's counting, as athletic director of coaches that I worked with and the ones that really, more through what they did, we developed a good relationship, and share that with you. And I do want to tell you that what I'm going to say, this works both ways. This isn't, you as coaches need to reach out to those ADs. More so, they need to be doing it with you, but it probably helps to look at it both ways. First one is share a common philosophy, or I think a better word is purpose. Our first question we asked in interviews of coaches was, what's your philosophy of high school athletics? I think that was a first step in us trying to develop kind of being on the same page. My purpose is not to talk about how you develop that today, but I'll give you 2 examples from my experience of things that I felt like if I saw this happening, that we were where we needed to be as an athletic program in our county, which was the 2 high schools. One, I called it shift the focus. If I went to a contest and I saw we were winning by a lot or losing by a lot, and I saw our coach really shift now to being mindful of the young people at the end of the bench, if you will, in those sports, that I knew they're thinking the right way here and not just always concentrating on that upper echelon. Number 2, a lot of them gave what they called practice players of the week. And that told me, too, that they were mindful of every child that they were coaching, not just the ones that, were the better ones that were going to help them win. I know that, winning is what we get judged on, and that's important, but our philosophy was we wanted to coach them all. And, if we did that, the winning would take care of itself. And the experience for the young people, which we felt was the bottom line, would be a good one. Next was to present a united front. Nothing kind of got me more than when it would get back to me that one of our coaches was criticizing other of our coaches. You know, there are enough people out there that want to take shots at us, and you know, for people out doing that, and you know, I think the social media, as great as it is, I'm going to touch on just one thing in a minute with that. I know other people are today as well that kind of added to that, but you know, please don't do that. But along with that, if there's a problem, you need to have a vehicle to be able to, you know, express that, and you know, you got to talk to somebody about it. But when you do it within us, you know, it just really tears the house down. And I will tell you honestly, and I think Mike and Tracy can vouch for this. We had great coaches working for us, and you know, these things were minimal problems. Of course, the athletic director, I didn't want any of them, but you're going to get that, and I'm just kind of kidding on that. But you know, being loyal really will help your athletic director aid your relationship with them. Next was effective communication, and it's not really my purpose to tell you how to communicate. I think you all probably do that and do it very effectively. It certainly is much easier than it used to be with all of the, you know, email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'd like to throw a couple things at you that, you know, maybe are kind of old school. One, make sure as much as you can, you try to have a face-to-face conversation with your athletic director. You know, I know it's easier to text and call and email, because it is, because as you're saying, everybody is really, really very busy. But I don't think that time that you spend talking to each other is going to be wasted time at all. You just kind of have a chance to get a better feel of where we all are, and just kind of, you know, being able to work together. The onus is certainly on the AD, I think, to do that more so than you as a coach, as I was saying. But you know, if you can make it a point, just I'm going to stop by and see them. That would be good. The other thing, and I would say that this might be the number one thing that I could leave with you today, and that's make sure you are having regular, scheduled meetings with your coaching staff. Not as needed, but you know, every Monday if you got, and I don't think they need to be more than 10 minutes maybe, but when we had problems within our coaching staff of a specific sport, it would almost always get back to me asking, okay, were you guys sitting down together meeting? And they weren't, you know, and then they were trying to do it, which was necessary, but I think that'll head off so many things. And if you're a head coach sitting there, I think you really need to give your assistants the opportunity to voice their opinion. If you're an assistant, you need to have that opportunity, but you need to understand that the buck kind of stops with the head coach. You know, they get the final say. I think if you do that, you're going to solve some of the things that, because those things are so defeating when you have a problem like that and you have to back up and try to deal with that. They really and truly are. And the bottom line is they're taking away from what the main purpose is, and that's coaching the young people that you're working with as effectively as you can. Next, and this kind of goes with that, no surprises. You know, as AD, I didn't want to hear something from somebody else about something that was going on the team. I think with the ability to connect with people, there's probably no excuse for that, but I think sometimes, I think this is human nature, that you think, well, you know, I'm just going to wait. I don't want to tell them. Nothing to be gained by waiting. Get it out there. You know, let's talk about it. We'll try to solve it together. So don't hit them with that, what's this? They're not going to like that. You'll help your relationship greatly if you just let them know. Proper use of social media, as I mentioned, you know, a lot of people are going to talk about that, and I think you all know about this, but my rule, which didn't work, but was never put any judgments, especially about people, in there. I mean, you know, we all know they potentially can go to the entire universe. Everybody can see that. You know, be very, very careful with that, because there's no defending that. If a coach did that and a parent came in or somebody else and was like, we're on damage control then. We're sorry, we know we shouldn't have. We'll try to do better next time. You don't want to have to do that if you can help it. I will tell you that we've had some coaches, and I bet you are all doing this, but they really struggle with the whole parent relationship thing. That's tough. You're going to have some. You're not going to have them all on your side, but I used to say to our coaches, you better try to have some on your side. But coaches who were having trouble started, regular emails to parents, just informational. If you'd like to talk to me, it changed it around for them. I don't really know why, but I think and email's how the world works. We all know that, and it really made a big difference with coaches and their relationship with parents that started doing that. Next is organization, and again, that's obvious. I say little things really do matter. And I'll give you another. It's maybe not the biggest thing in the world, but if you want to have a good relationship with your athletic director, I know I did, get your paperwork in on time. Both before the season starts, that's kind of a first impression, and then at the end of the season, the things that you're supposed to turn in, that's the lasting impression of doing that. That's just kind of taking care of your business. And that's a way of showing your athletic director that you are doing that. Have an appreciation and respect. I might not have included this had I not retired. But have an appreciation and respect for the athletic director position. You guys have tough jobs, and athletic directors do also. I mean, there's a lot. I know we had 21 different sports in our schools, about 77 teams, counting varsity, junior varsity, and freshmen. There's a lot of things there. And, I don't mean you have to kowtow to them or give them that bottle of wine, but, have that respect to that position. You certainly, again, need to expect to get that back from them. And I hope all of you are, and I'm guessing that all of you are. A couple things that may help you with that. You invite them to a contest or event. And you may say, well, they should be coming anyhow. Well, if you have maybe it's your parents' day or event or some other special thing, make it a point to invite them and try to get them there. And, the second thing, when you have a problem, try to come with a solution to that problem. They're the ones that really probably need to manage that. But, that was helpful because if all your athletic director, you as coach, just inundated with problems all the time, sometimes they start to get jumbled. But if you think, that's a good idea to help us try to solve this, that will help your relationship with your athletic director. We have a saying on the Eastern Shore. How many of you are from the Eastern Shore? Okay, a few. The saying was, skin your own skunks. And that means that, your athletic director needs to be there for you. They need to support you. They need to help you do your job in all ways possible. But they can't do your job for you. And my story on that is the toilet paper story. One of our female coaches, and not that this was about the female coaches, it wasn't. It came from both sides, fortunately not a lot. But she came rushing in my office one day, and there's no toilet paper in the girls' locker room, and what are you going to do about it? Well, I know when we went down that she had gone by 2 custodians that could have been happy to take some in there. Well, the point is, that could have been solved by her. And if you have those coaches that, every little thing, they're at your door, you're going to be less likely to really kind of get behind when they do have a problem and solve it. I knew my coaches that when I heard them and they came in to see me and they had a problem, well, we were going to tackle that great guns. And not that, we wouldn't for all of them, but the ones who were there all the time with every little problem in the world, they're not going to get the same attention. And again, I may not say that I hadn't retired, but that's the reality of it, or at least it was in my view. be passionate about your athletes and the sport that you're coaching. I think this will always get you through if you are that. I think, you know, and not to make this a negative, because I don't think it is a negative, but you have to be honest with yourself. When you reach that time, that maybe when you're not passionate about it anymore, you say, I need to step back away from this. Because we have coaches, and fortunately, again, this didn't happen much at all, but it kind of was obvious that they were just putting in time. You know, it's hard to manage that as an athletic director. But my rule was I'd never let anybody resign until after 2 weeks from the end of the season. Everybody's tired then. Everybody's had enough. You know, you need a little bit of time, and when a lot of them, when they would want to do that, you know, I've had it. You know, in 2 weeks or so, they'd come back, you know, I'm good, I'm ready to go. And that's a good thing. The program evaluation with Tracy's here, she had helped me with something we were working on. I'm not sure if they guys did that. I hope they did. But, you know, don't look at having your program evaluated as being criticized. Look at it as something that's going to improve your program. And I think it needs to work all ways. You need, and we were working something that we were going to put on SurveyMonkey that our parents could get on and evaluate the experience for their child. Let your players evaluate. Your athletic director is. You should be able to evaluate them. All under the heading, it's going to make us better. And, you know, that's tough. It's human nature to not want to be criticized, any of us. But if you can get the mindset, you know, anything I can do to enhance this experience for the young people that are involved with it, that's what we need to be doing. The last one is about budget. You know, I mentioned my kind of joke one in the beginning. I think as coaches, you need to be willing to help with budget. You need to, you know, I guess I'm saying, don't say I'm not going to fundraise. You know, you may be put in a situation where you have to. You know, for those of you that aren't good at that, and I know I was not. I know you have parents in your thing. You know, they're anxious and willing to help and do anything they can. Get them to do the fundraising for you. But I would caution you that, you know, sometimes I think, and I don't know a lot about rowing. I apologize that I don't, but I think I know. It is an expensive proposition, I believe, very much so. So I'm sure you're probably having to do that. But be careful of letting fundraising become the primary focus of your job. You know, I think sometimes that can happen, and I can't give you a good answer how to keep it from happening. But remember, your job and task as a coach to young people that you're working with to the best of your ability, providing the things that they need and then want to enhance your program are a necessary part, but they can't be the main focus. I'd just like to end by I want to say to you, don't ever underestimate, ever, the good work that you do and your ability to positively affect the lives of young people. I don't think there's any more important work in our society, and I mean that. And I'm not involved with it on a day-to-day basis anymore. Maybe I can have a clearer picture now since I have stepped back away from it, but it's so, so important. You know, the life lessons, the experiences, and all the things that young people that are participating in athletics are gaining. It is really, really crucial. I would like to say in my 20 seconds again to thank Mike and Tracy. It was a dream, I can tell you, absolutely, as an athletic director to have parents like Mike and Tracy and the support that they gave me in my years on the job. They were wonderful, and I just hope that you guys in your athletic programs have parents like them that you can count on. No, if it was just you guys, I'd still be there, man.
How about this? Questions? I mean, this is the dark side. Here's a chance for you to get a peek more in depth. You could ask a question. Anybody have a question here? AD.
You talk about spinning your own skunk, but at what point, parents are an issue, right? At what point did coaches tend to force parents on you, bring a parent issue to you, and when is that an appropriate you know, you try to deal with it yourself, but.
You know, I steered away from the parent thing because when I was here 2 or 3 years ago, that was the topic. I'd say that's the 4-letter word in athletics, and it can be. But I didn't want to, because it can be a negative. But I felt like as athletic director, when our coaches were getting the parent thing, when it was really heating up, as athletic director, I wanted to try to take the heat off of them as much as I could, support them, you know, let them come in and talk to me. But you need to give them an audience, and you know, somehow, I don't know if that's the right term, but you know, at the point, that's what I mean. Yeah, skin your own skunks, but when it gets to a certain point, go back to what I said. That's when you need your athletic director. They need to really support you and help you through that, because you know, those are the things that make people think, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's kind of the reality of it. But I'll tell you, and I think this is a positive. Somebody told me one time that, you know, it's silent majority of parents. Most of them probably feel very good and about what you're doing and are happy with the experience. But the ones you hear from are the ones that want to get a piece of you. And that's why I go back to that survey monkey. Give them all a chance to express their feeling. I think that could keep some of the brush fires that you have happen, especially related to that, down. Does that answer your question?
Can't you see a rowing shirt right now? Skin your own skunk. I think that's going to be a great one. Well, Dave, thank you so much. Will you be joining us for lunch?
I will be.
Great opportunity. You'll be at the pizza bar too up there.